I give Shea credit because the one thing as a superstar you have to do, two people have the most control of a team. The best player and the coach. It's up to the best player to give those guys confidence. It also is important for the coach to give them the freedom to do their thing. So Coach Daniel, is that his name? Dagnall and Shea, man, they do a good job. I love the way they do their interviews together, but when you're a star, you have to give those guys air.
Charles Barkley grabbed a microphone, looked into the camera, and absolutely cooked the Lakers on live TV. No mercy, no softening it for the home audience. Cowboy boots, sweet predictions, Sandman dance routines, the whole package. The Lakers got handled in Oklahoma City, and Chuck made sure everyone watching at home knew exactly how it looked. Was Chuck right to roast the Lakers this hard, or did he go a little too far for a series that technically still has games left? And how many of you secretly enjoyed watching him do it on national television?
Well, I don't think we've seen anything we didn't expect. We said, hey, maybe the Lakers could win a game, but this team here, man, they've been, even though they didn't win the championship that first year, they've had the best record 3 years in a row.
Number one seed in the West, 3 years.
Yes, I mean, so they have been, and now their confidence is through the roof.
Inside the NBA does not get enough credit for how often it doubles as a comedy roast session. Most nights you tune in for highlights and analysis. Sometimes you tune in and watch Charles Barkley turn a post-game studio into a stand-up special at the expense of whichever team got embarrassed that evening. The Lakers volunteered to be that team after Game 2 against the Thunder, and Chuck did not waste the opportunity. The setup was simple. The Thunder beat the Lakers by 18 in Game 2. The series is now 2-0. Oklahoma City is rolling. The Lakers look like a team trying to figure out which direction the gym is. The studio crew rolled into their segment with the kind of energy that made it obvious they had been waiting all night for this moment. Ernie Johnson tried to keep things calm. Chuck had no interest in calm.
Chuck, you know what they say at a time like this.
Get the cowboy boots ready, we're going to Oklahoma City?
No.
That's what they should be saying.
Well, they just tased Ryan. This ball game is over.
They just tased Ryan.
131.
Hey, King. I wanted to do that tonight, and Ernie wouldn't let me.
Oh, come on, you're better than that.
His opening line basically set the tone for the entire segment. Get the cowboy boots ready. We're going to Oklahoma City. That was it. That was the cold open. He looked into the camera, casually predicted a sweep, and waited for everyone else to catch up to the joke. Ernie tried to push back on the framing. Chuck did not let it slow him down. He clarified for everyone watching at home that the cowboy boots line was exactly what Lakers fans should be saying right now because the series is heading to a quick exit and a long off-season. Then the show got even better. The crew started teasing Chuck about wanting to do his old Kabuya celebration. Ernie supposedly told him not to do it during the broadcast. Chuck broke the news on air anyway. He admitted he wanted to do the Kabuya call after the Lakers' loss. He admitted Ernie had to physically stop him from doing it. Then he basically did a partial version anyway because Chuck has never been good at following directions and never will be. The crowd in the studio was laughing. The audience at home was laughing. The Lakers fans watching probably were not laughing, but everyone else was eating.
Come on, Chuck, they getting swept. Come on, babe.
I think that's what that means, Kenny.
Sandman, you gotta do the Sandman dance. Hey, I'm just getting a head start. We're gonna be off another day next week.
Is that happening tomorrow too?
Oh, in Philly? Oh yeah. It's a Knicks are gonna wrap it up for my boys tomorrow. And listen, I'm so sick. Al Palagonia, Spike Lee, Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan, all them hoodlums coming down to Philly making all that damn racket. Come on, Joel, rise up. Rise up. Come on, rise up, Philly. We can't get swept.
Chuck then went on to start mocking the eventual Knicks-Sixers result on top of everything else. He took aim at the celebrity sideline crew. Al Pacino, Spike Lee, Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan. He listed them off like he was reading a hostage list. He called them hoodlums for showing up in Philadelphia and making noise. He did the bit where he begged Joel Embiid to rise up. He talked about how sick of the celebrity attention he was. He was rolling. He was loose. He was in full Charles Barkley mode, which means nothing was off limits and no team was safe.
We said, hey, maybe the Lakers could win a game, but this team here, man, they've been, even though they didn't win the championship that first year, they've had the best record 3 years in a row.
Number 1 seed in the West 3 years.
Yes, I mean, so they have been, and now their confidence is through the roof.
The Lakers segment was the highlight, though. The roast was layered. He covered the team. He covered the legacy. He covered the fans. He covered the way they got dismantled in Oklahoma City. He even managed to give the Thunder credit at the same time, which made the burn sting even more because real praise for the other team is the most painful kind of broadcast for fan base to sit through. His big basketball point about Oklahoma City was actually serious analysis underneath the comedy. He pointed out that the Thunder are now in their 3rd year as the number 1 seed in the West. 3 years in a row of having the best record in the conference. That is not a fluke. That is not a hot streak. That is a sustained run of dominance from a young team that has been climbing the ladder 1 rung at a time. Even though they did not win the title in their 1st year, as the top seed, they have been the most consistent team in the conference. That kind of run builds confidence. Confidence shows up on the floor in playoff games. Confidence is what allows a team to beat the Lakers by 18 at home and act like it was just another Tuesday. Chuck gave specific credit to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and head coach Mark Nault for how they managed the locker room. Chuck briefly forgot the coach's last name in the moment, which Kenny had to remind him of. That is also part of the inside the NBA experience. Hall of Famers forgetting names mid-sentence and getting bailed out by their co-hosts. Once the name was sorted, Chuck made his point. The 2 most important people in any team's success are the best player and the head coach. That is true at every level of basketball. The star sets the tone. The coach builds the system. Everyone else follows the energy those 2 create. Chuck's argument was that Shai does the job a superstar is supposed to do. He empowers his teammates. He gives them air to breathe. He makes them feel like they belong. He shares the credit when things go well. That is what the great ones do. The mediocre stars try to take all the credit and avoid all the blame. The great stars accept that they will get credit for the wins anyway. So they spend their public moments lifting up the people around them. Shai checks that box. He does interviews with his coach. He talks about his teammates by name. He distributes attention the same way he distributes the basketball. The result is a roster full of confident role players who can step up when the lights are bright. The Lakers, by contrast, do not have that culture right now. The Lakers have a star who has spent the better part of 2 weeks complaining about the whistle. The Lakers have a head coach who is publicly calling the officiating the worst whistle of any star player he has ever seen. The Lakers are losing on the scoreboard and losing the composure battle at the same time. Chuck did not say all of that explicitly. He did not have to. The contrast between how he described the Thunder leadership and how he described the Lakers situation was its own form of commentary. One team is being run by a star who builds others up. The other team is being run by a star who keeps yelling at officials in the 3rd quarter. Chuck also touched on the role players the Thunder have built around Shai. Names like Aaron Wiggins, Case Wallace, Jalen Williams, Jalen McCain coming off the bench. The way the Thunder have constructed depth is one of the most impressive front office stories of the last few seasons. Most contenders are top-heavy. Most contenders ride 2 or 3 guys 40 minutes a night and pray nothing goes wrong. The Thunder are 18 deep with rotation pieces. They can throw any combination on the floor and feel comfortable. That depth is showing up against the Lakers in real time. The Lakers cannot match the Thunder bench, the Thunder quarters by itself. Then Chuck got back to the celebration material because he could not help himself. The Sandman dance came up. Apollo at the Apollo Theater used to have a Sandman who would sweep losing acts off the stage. The basketball version of that has become its own running gag during NBA blowouts. Down 2-0, sweep on the horizon. The Sandman is warming up in the wings. Chuck started doing the dance on camera. He said he was getting ahead. Start because the show was going to be off for a few days the following week, and he wanted to bank his celebration content while he had the chance. The studio absolutely lost it. The fact that this was happening on national television the night after a Lakers playoff game with the 4-time MVP of the league watching from somewhere in Los Angeles was the whole point. There is no media protection for the Lakers right now. The biggest sports show on cable just spent multiple segments laughing at them. Not analyzing them, laughing at them. There is a difference. Analysis still leaves room for hope. Laughter is what happens when the conclusion has already been reached, and the only thing left is the punchline. The funnier layer is that Chuck has been calling this matchup correctly for weeks. He picked the Thunder. He kept picking the Thunder. He kept telling anyone who would listen that the Lakers were not built for this kind of opponent. The roster construction was wrong. The defensive personnel was wrong. The pace of the Thunder game was going to expose the Lakers in a way the regular season never quite did. He was right. Now he gets to dance about it. That is the part the rest of the analysts on national television rarely earn. The right to celebrate a take that the audience also thought was harsh at the time. Compare what Chuck does on Inside the NBA to what most networks produce around playoff coverage. Most networks send their analysts out to deliver safe, friendly takes that protect relationships with star players. Most networks have unwritten rules about how harshly you can speak about a top 5 player in the league. Most networks would never let a host start a segment with a sweet prediction phrased as cowboy boots. Most networks would absolutely not let a host start doing the Sandman dance about an active playoff series. TNT lets Chuck do all of it because Chuck is the show. The format only works because everyone in the studio knows the rules do not apply to him. The Lakers fans watching at home are stuck in a brutal spot. Their team got blown out. Their star spent the night arguing with referees and a courtside fan. Their head coach got a technical foul. Their roster looks completely overmatched. The national broadcast is using their loss as comedy material. The next game is the last home game on the schedule before potentially heading back to Oklahoma City for an elimination game. There are no easy outs. There are no excuses left. Chuck saw all of it and gave the audience exactly what they needed to laugh through the disappointment. The 41-year-old version of LeBron James is the part of this story Chuck did not directly attack, but obviously implied. The argument has always been that LeBron's longevity is the cheat code that ends every comparison conversation. The longevity argument is now being tested in real time. The 41-year-old version of LeBron is taking 18 shots, getting 4 free throws, complaining to officials, and watching his team lose by 18. The longevity is real. The dominance attached to that longevity has clearly faded. This is what an extended career looks like in the postseason at age 41. The body of work is impressive. The body itself is starting to send messages. The Lakers also have a coaching question that is going to come up loudly if this series ends 4-0 or 4-1. J.J. Redick was the off-season splash hire that was supposed to bring fresh ideas, modern offense, and a championship or bust mentality. Through 2 games of round 2, the offense looks confused. The defense is leaking, and the head coach picked up a technical foul, yelling at officials in game 2. Those are not the receipts a first-tier head coach wants on his playoff debut. Chuck and the rest of the studio crew did not pile on Redick directly during the segment, but the implication was there. The Thunder coach is empowering his roster. The Lakers coach is fighting with the refs. The contrast tells the story. The other piece of Chuck's commentary that stood out was his observation about how playoff confidence builds. Confidence in the postseason does not come from one win. It comes from sustained excellence over multiple seasons. The Thunder built theirs over 3 years of being the top seed. They lost early one year. They came back tougher the next. They are now the team that handles every moment with the calm of a group that has already lived through the harder versions. The Lakers do not have that institutional memory. The Lakers are a roster that was reshuffled multiple times in the past 2 seasons. They have not had 3 straight years of anything except churn. That kind of inconsistency shows up in tight playoff games. The Thunder make the right play. The Lakers make the angry call. That is the gap. Chuck's segment also leaned into the fact that the Lakers have been dropping out of the Western Conference picture in big games for a while now. The team has had its share of regular season highlights. The team has not put together the kind of postseason runs that justify the coverage they get. There is a real conversation to be had about whether the franchise has been propped up by media attention for years instead of by actual playoff results. Chuck is the only person on national television willing to start that conversation in a way that the audience can actually feel. The reaction online was massive. Clips of the cowboy boots line went viral within minutes of airing. The Sandman dance clip got picked up by every major sports media account on the internet. The Ernie Johnson try to settle Chuck down moments became their own meme cycle. Lakers fans were furious in the comment sections. Thunder fans were celebrating in the comment sections. Neutral fans were mostly laughing. That is the Inside the NBA effect in real time. The show shapes the conversation more than any other studio program in sports. That's the breakdown. Hit the like button if Chuck's roast made your night. Subscribe so the next breakdown lands right in your feed. Drop your take in the comments and let me know if the Lakers steal a game or get swept clean off the schedule. Inside the NBA brought the heat and the Lakers brought the receipts. See you next time.